Located in the shadow of the Gateway Arch, Gateway Motorsports Park's roots date back to the 1960s, when what was known as St. Louis Raceway Park consisted of an eighth-mile drag strip. In the 1980s, the drag strip was lengthened to a quarter of a mile. A 2.6-mile road course was added to the facility, and it was renamed Gateway International Raceway. The track was acquired in 1995 by Dover Motorsports, which constructed a 1.25-mile egg-shaped oval and a 1.65-mile road course utilizing the infield in turns 3 and 4 of the oval. Although Gateway hosted IndyCar, NHRA, and NASCAR Xfinity and Truck Series events, Dover Motorsports closed the track in 2010. Real estate developer Curtis Francois subsequently acquired the facility, rechristened it Gateway Motorsports Park, and inked agreements with the NHRA and NASCAR. Likened to Phoenix and Darlington, Gateway's asymmetrical oval has proven to be a demanding test of driver and machine, regardless of whether those machines are open wheel or stock cars. With turns 1 and 2 tighter but more steeply banked than 3 and 4, the track requires a compromised setup, while the fact that the list of race winners includes names like Carl Edwards, Ron Hornaday Jr., and Juan Pablo Montoya attest to the demands it places on the drivers. Tonight, it's the FMC Aircraft Solutions 130. It's coming up next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Worldwide Technology Raceway, Gateway Motorsports Park, Gateway, whatever you want to call it. We're here nonetheless. The Numb Racing League DEP Graphics Truck Series practice just about wrapped up here from the Speedway. Neil Quick is the fastest. Zach Millett, P2. Third is Brian Woodruff. Brian Rose, fourth. Mason Wagaman, fifth. Just about 20 seconds remain in the session. We'll get right to qualifying. Already got one stream chatter. It's Haley from Sweden, of course, as always. Thank you once again. Clock at 0. And just like that, the session does come complete. We'll have to see if Neil Quick can put the number 2 truck on pole position here this afternoon. This is a home race for Neil Quick. Bob Hatton back in the pit stall here, has not rolled as of yet. Brian Rose, however, has pulled out of the pits. Start his qualifying attempt. Somewhat slow entry into 3 and 4 here. I think he's just trying to line it up. Oh, he's going to kill that first lap. A little loose on corner exit, turn 4, coming to the green flag. Lap 1 certainly not going to be the fastest for Brian Rose. And those of you just tuning in a little bit late here, we are in qualifying. 2 laps to set the field. The FMC Aircraft Solutions 130. Lap 1 for Brian Rose at 34.797. And once again, our overlay issues continue from last night. Not sure where this artifact on the bottom right is coming from. At least the data is correct. Shut it down real quick here. Fire it back up. See if we can fix that. And there it is. 34.665. Provisional pole for Brian Rose. Still salvaged a pretty good lap there the second time around. White Fahey with a 35.378 on his attempt. 2 laps completed. Lap 1 for Zach Millett, a 34.87. He ran a 34.35 in practice. Millett goes P1, 34.53. Not quite his practice speed, but maybe some draft involved in that. Double out Joe Bennett on track. Bennett across the line for his second lap at 34.775. Good run. First lap didn't get counted. Second one, pretty good. Fast time in practice was a 34.34, and that was Neil Quick in the number 2 Ford F-150. See if he can back it up here. Again, a home race for Neil Quick. Ninth Quick the first time, 34.846 for Neil. Stay with him here. Neil pins it right down to the bottom. See if he can get the power down on turn 4. He does. No wiggle, no loose at the stripe. Where does he land? P5, 34.678. Can't back up that practice time, but still a solid starting position for Neil Quick tonight. Chris Klein, first lap of 34.950. Oh, in the wall, out of turn 2. That's going to do it for his second lap. Derek Welch going to turn some laps with us here tonight. A little deep into 1 and 2. I think that's 1 and 2. He's going to lock it up. Will he try again? Is right back in his stall, so it looks like he's going to give it another go here. Millett, your fastest so far, 34.53. Hattenback P2, 34.65. Brian Rose, third with a 66. Wagaman, fourth with another 66, rounded up to a 67. Quick with a 67. Look how close these times are in the top 5. Millett just about a 10th quicker than everybody else, but the other one's just a 100th off of each other. Welch doesn't get a time in officially. With that, though, we've got a 3-minute break here at the end of this session. Looks like everyone has taken laps that is going to. There may be a couple stragglers, but we're going to jump out, get our break out of the way, and we'll be back with our starting grid after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back to Gateway of the FMC Aircraft Solutions 130. Our starting grid with a lap time, pole position 34.533, the 315 of Zach Millett. To the outside, it's the 99 of Rob Hattenbach. Row number 2, the 89 of Brian Rose and Mason Wagaman. Row number 3, it's hometown driver Neil Quick and Paul Durkee, the number 13. Starting in the 7th spot, it's Russ Kilgore. Starting 8th is Double Aught Joe Bennett. 9th starter is the 76 of Jeff Ottinger. Starting in the 10th position, the number 74 of Blaine Woodruff. Nicholas Cote, the number 94 out of New England. He'll start in the 11th spot. Brandon Coleman, the number 19, he starts 12th with Vincent Short in the 15. He starts in the 13th spot. Chris Klein's going to roll from the 14th starting position. Scott Milner out of Indiana, the number 31, starts 15th. Mike Fahey, the number 47 from Lone Star Racing, starts in the 16th spot with Tony Polk with Wicked Loose Racing in the 8 machine starting 17th. Juan Jimenez starts 18th. He'll be one to watch tonight in the number 22. Mike Adamson with Limitless Motorsports, the number 751, starts 19th. Brian Neff in the 60, 20th, 21st, Dan Baker. Albert Anderson, the 747, starts 22nd. And Derek Welch in the 1, starting shotgun on the field here tonight. Your starting grid for the FMC Aircraft Solutions 130. Field sits on the grid here, getting ready to roll away for their one and only formation lap. begins to roll. Zach Millen has put up a considerable win streak here as of late, looking for 6 straight tonight. Pace truck, hard left turn down into the pit lane. Barney the flagman with the green in hand.
Green flag.
We're underway from Gateway. Billet with the lead. Brian Rose slips up into the second position. The battle now, Mason Wagaman, Rob Hattenback. That's for the third spot. Wagaman has taken it from the 99 out of turn number 4. Lap 1 complete. Mike Fahey in the pits already. Not sure if he's serving a penalty here or what the case may be for the number 47. Fahey sporting the sponsor of the race's colors. The FMC Aircraft Solutions machine hits his pit box. Not sure the issue with the 47. It's already going to go down 1 lap here as Zach Millett screams past the pit lane. Brian Rose right to the back bumper of Zach Millett. Put the pressure on early here, 3 laps in. Mike Fahey has finished his pit stop. It was a 37-second stop. I have to assume that might have just been a penalty. I'm not sure what the situation there is. Hopefully we can get some light shed on that here sooner or later. Checking on some other battles throughout the field. These are pretty well straightened up right now, but it looks to be the battle between Jeff Ottinger and Brandon Coleman. This would be for the 10th spot. Coleman in the 19, the red truck just in behind the number 76 of Ottinger. Ryan F. Battle with Albert Anderson here. Neff takes the spot. Still the battle continues here. Coleman might have taken the spot from Ottinger. He does. It almost opens the door for Nick Cote in the 94. Cote can't do anything with it just yet, but he's right to the back bumper of Ottinger. Meanwhile, Coleman start working on the 71 machine of Blaine Woodruff. Ottinger slides up the track just a bit. Coleman pushing awfully hard very early here. You saw how much right turn he had into that car, or truck for that matter, exiting turn number 2. Was in a bit of a slide. Can't get away with that for too long here at Gateway. You're going to cook those rear tires. '71 Woodruff goes to the outside, had a good run to the outside, not enough to make the pass, had to lift a little bit, slid the nose. Now he's working on the 13 of Paul Durkee. Woodruff topside carries a lot more speed. Look at that. 71 carries a ton of speed on corner entry. See if he can get the power down here and make this pass. Word that Juan Jimenez may have crashed in the number 22 machine. Let's take a look and see what happened here with the 22. Just about a half lap ago, or did he? Just a connection issue it looks. No, he does come back in, power slide, top of the racetrack, locks it down. Little tiny piece of the wall, but nothing significant. Continues on, no caution. Tristan Sykes in the stream chat. Did Fahey already do the thing? I'm not really sure what the thing is. If you meant crash, no. But he did hit pit lane at the completion of lap 1, which, assuming was a 30-second penalty for what, we don't know. Fahey running 23rd, 2 laps down. Now a battle between teammates, number 19 and the 13. It's Coleman and Durkee. This is for the 10th position. Coleman does stretch it out down the backstretch. Durkee pulls back in, a few truck lengths off the back bumper. We'll see if the 19 gets the run out of 4. Continuing to watch this battle, the back of the top 10. Nick Code in the 9th spot, Brandon Coleman 10. Coleman's got company though. Durkee was all over the tailgate of the number 19 truck down into turn number 1. Pushes Coleman up the racetrack just a bit, opens the door for the 13. Doesn't quite have him clear out of turn number 2, but the battle continues down the backstretch. They drag race down into turn number 3. And Coleman continue to battle, but Durkee's taking over the spot, so move the 13 truck to P10. Just checking on the stream chat here. Speaking of Mike Fahey, Chris Fahey in the chat says, Mike Fahey became an uncle today. I assume by the blue heart, it's a boy. Does that mean Chris Fahey became a grandma today? I'm not really sure how the family tree works out. That'd be my guess. If so, congratulations. Big wiggle out of the 71 out of turn number 2. We've seen that a few times already. Riding on board the last time it happened, had a whole bunch of right turn in that truck to keep it from coming around. Things relatively unchanged up front. Zach Millett, Brian Rose, your top two. Neil Quick, however, has slid himself into the third position. Remember, he started fifth here today. This is a home race for Neil. Got plenty of laps around this place, very experienced. He's great at saving tires. We'll see if he's going to have enough to close the gap on these top two. Had the fastest time in the practice session, wasn't able to back it up in qualifying. Still a solid top 5 start. As Brian Rose slides top side here. Not sure if he intentionally opened the door for Neil. These two had a bit of a scuffle out at Sonoma Raceway on Sunday. Trading paint in multiple corners. See if they've got their issues worked out or not. Neil gets a run out of 4. Just a bit of a nose to the left rear of Brian Rose. Clean pass down into 1, or is it? Brian tried to battle back for a moment, but now Neil's got the 89 clear. So move Neil Quick up to P2. Brian now back to 3rd spot. Meanwhile, it looks after that contact with the wall, Juan Jimenez has opted to park it for the evening. Sits in pit lane running 23rd, so that's at least one more spot gain for Mike Fahey. Been under the green flag here for 19 laps. No caution flags as of yet. Those would certainly be helpful to Mike Fahey. Start to get some of those laps back. Still don't know exactly what triggered his pit stop at the end of lap 1. Seemed to be in the pits for at least 30 seconds plus. Don't know if he passed before the start-finish line or what the case may be. With that said, let's give it a shot. Maybe we can figure it out. Start of the race. There was a bit of a stack up there, and it seems that he might have gotten one position before the line. Granted, it was to the outside, so that should be okay. Not 100% sure what the reasoning for it is, but you see he does right out of turn 2, drop down to the bottom, slows his pace, goes right to pit entry right away. Interesting. Chris Fahey says, yes, it's a boy, and yes, for lack of a better word, that makes me a grandmother. I was trying to think of a better terminology, Chris. I just couldn't come up with it. Is Nana better? I don't know. That's what we call my mom with my kids, so. Either way, congratulations. '71 of Woodruff still starting to fight his way through this field. The truck's been out of shape a whole bunch, but it's not slowing him down as he gets to the inside of the 56. Mason Wagaman paddling back still through turn 3. Woodruff was taking the high lane to make some of these passes. He's switched it up here, gets the pass done, clears the 56 out of turn 4, moved Blaine Woodruff up to 5th spot. Woodruff back topside now. Opens the door again for Wagaman. Wagaman doesn't quite have to run off. Another battle for position on the track. This is for the 7th spot between Dolot, Joe Bennett, and Nick Code. Nick goes to the bottom at number 94, has a run out of turn 4. They drag race down the front stretch this time. Nicely done. 94 takes over the 7th position. Joe Bennett going to try and look back to the bottom, but nothing available there. Meanwhile, Russ Kilgore just behind in the number 28 truck. It's going to say 7 in your timing and scoring tower. It's 28 on the door. Kilgore was thinking he was going to take advantage of that opening. Wasn't big enough to push the truck through it. Kilgore closing the gap on Joe Bennett down into turn 3. Bennett takes the high lane. Kilgore drives it deep to the bottom. Has to jump on the brakes to avoid sliding up the racetrack, but he still has position on Joe Bennett. Out of turn 4, Kilgore has him clear. He does. Move Joe Bennett now to the 9th spot. Kilgore to 8th. Now Kilgore slides up the track. "26 laps in, now 27 laps in here from Gateway. We're going to jump out and get an HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be back after this. You won't miss a minute of the action.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Worldwide Technology Raceway, or Gateway, Zach Millett continues to lead over Neil Quick, but that lead is shrinking. Neil is closing the gap on the 315. It's down to just over a full second. It was about 1.5 when we went to the break. Brian Rose has slipped back about 5 seconds, still handles that third position. That is Rob Hattenbach and the 71 of Blaine Woodruff. Vincent Short runs back in the 12th position, having a clean and conservative afternoon. Started 13th. He's up one position, just taking it slow, taking care of his stuff. It's a key point to keep in mind here at Gateway, is if you take care of the tires early on and don't abuse them, you can typically push a little bit harder later on and make up a lot of spots just simply for having better tires underneath you. Right now, not the case. A couple of drivers going on by, but actually that very well could be the case because they've already made their pit stops here at lap 31. That's Paul Durkee and Brandon Coleman, so they are on a different tire strategy. Not for position. They are not on the lead lap at the moment. But yes, those two have made their first green flag stop of the day. We were thinking about 40 laps was the fuel window. Possibly these drivers trying the undercut, maybe trying to push some guys to the pits a little sooner than they had planned. Wow, let's go through the field here. Zach Millett, of course, your race leader. Neil Quick running in that second position. He's up 3 spots. Started P5 here today. Got a hometown race for Neil Quick. Third position is Brian Rose, right where he started. He was aggressive at the start of the race. Got the truck up to the second spot. Held it until Neil Quick made his way to the front. Rob Hattenbach started P2, runs 4th. Blaine Woodruff having a good afternoon as well. He's moved his way from the 10th position up to 5th. Nick Cote also having a good run. Started 11th up to the 6th spot. Mason Wagaman might have burned his stuff up a little bit early on in the run in that Glock F-150. Mike Adamson runs 8th. He's the biggest mover so far, up 11 positions. Sport the City Chevrolet, that throwback Days of Thunder paint scheme. That is always very cool to see. Russ Kilgore runs the 9th position. Russ out of Yorkville, Illinois. Double O Joe, as some would call him. He runs in the 10th position. Started 8th. Again, tires maybe going away on the 0-0 machine. Jeff Ottinger runs 11th. Jeff out of Goodrich, Michigan. Chris Klein running in the 12th position. I'll get that out eventually. Chris out of Buford, Georgia. Tony Polk, the number 8 F-150. He runs 13th out of Waterford, Michigan. Daniel Baker, the 09 Gulf Silverado. Vincent Short, well, Vince is in pit lane here for his first scheduled stop of the evening. Expected to see this, and in fact, Neil Quick also down into pit lane from the 2nd spot, undercutting Millett. Millett stays on the racetrack, so this is going to give him another lap, maybe even 2, depending on how long Millett stays out, of fresher rubber by comparison. 4 tires and fuel for Neil Quick. Sunoco Racing Fuel going in. Neil Quick down and away. Jeff Ottinger also in the pit box. Derek Welch, a bit of a start and park tonight by design. Just wanted to get some laps in. See it in the stream chat if you're paying attention to that. Russ Kilgore down the pits. Now, Zach Millett did stay out here, so we're at lap 40. Himself and teammate Brian Rose now in here at the top 2. Millett's had the point since the drop of the green, started on pole. And here he comes. Zach Millett with teammate Brian Rose, so Brian's about 5-6 seconds in the rears. Can only assume 4 tires and fuel for everybody down pit lane for this green flag stop. So Mike Fahey chiming in here, giving us some information, all sorts of hardware issues tonight. You know, that kind of crossed my mind as well. Not sure if we had a problem with a monitor, a VR, pedals, wheelbase. We've all been through it. Zach Millett down and away. 14.8 second stop for Millett. A good stop. Jack goes down on Brian Rose as well. 15.2 seconds in the pit box. So Blaine Woodruff from the lead hits pit lane, as well as Mike Adamson, Mason Wagaman. So green flag stops well underway here at Gateway. I think Woodruff is going to get credit for leading a lap as well. More updates on Mike Fahey. He says absolutely no force feedback. Definitely not the track for that. I know some guys, that's just how they run. They don't turn the force feedback on at all. It can kind of induce overcorrections in a lot of cases, and I can understand that, but I don't know. It's a simulator. It's not a game. You kind of like to feel some feedback. Personally, I prefer it. Can't go out there and just turn the wheel with my pinky and make it okay. Blaine Woodruff, though, looks like he might have been popped for speeding on pit entry. He's been in the box for 38, 39, 40 seconds. Probably be another 15 here before he's let go. Had a good run going. Came in the top 5, essentially as the leader. See if he goes right about here. Yep. 40-second penalty in the box for speeding on pit road. Mike Fahey says, I missed a nasty wreck with himself and Albert. So did iRacing, because I don't have a notification on it. If you can tell me about what lap it was, I might be able to go find it, Mike. But other than that, I'd be totally guessing. Dan Baker in the pits as well. Right at start-finish. So, Zach Millett has retaken the top spot after the pit cycle, though he's got Neil Quick only 1.1 seconds behind, which is right about where he was when this pit cycle started. Yes, Neil was able to pick up a little bit extra time on the racetrack, with Millett staying out for another lap or two. But, remember, at the beginning of this race, Neil Quick started 5th. He was able to work his way up into that 2nd position. This is going to get interesting. I really think that Quick may have a shot here, try and reel in Zach Millett and put some pressure on that 315 machine. Fastest lap of the day is Neil Quick, 34.46. Millett's almost 2/10 slower than that. Now, lap to lap, Millett was about half a tenth faster the last time by. Keep an eye on that and see how those change throughout the course of the event. Still a 1.1, let's round up, advantage for Zach Millett over Neil Quick. I'll tell you, Brian Rose lost a ton of time in that pit cycle. He came in about 6 seconds behind Millett. Now it's almost 11 seconds. Still solidly in the top 5, running 3rd. Big gaggle of trucks here down into turn number 1. Russ Kilgore in the thick of it. Ryan Neff up the racetrack. A little bit of contact with the 60. The 56. So Wagaman tries to take advantage. He's to the inside. He might get 2 for 1 here. Wagaman tucks back in behind Kilgore, just a few feet off the back bumper of the 28 into turn 1. Took a peek, nothing doing there. Now the 751 of Mike Adamson trying to work on Joe Bennett. we might have found it, at least the lap where Fahey went to pit lane. Might have to do some rewind here, which I don't really care to, but let's try and see what happened. You see the damage already to the 47 truck of Mike Fahey. Big time rewind. You guys know I don't like doing this, but we're going to do it. There it is. All right. So some better information here. Mike Fahey on the bottom, looks like a truck up top side, gets into the fence, comes down the track, gets into the right rear of Mike Fahey. This all off turn 4 on the main stretch. Front straightaway here, coming to the stripe. This happened at the back end of the field, so that's why we didn't get a caution for it. But there you have it. Got you covered there, Mike. Taking another look out front. Millett, of course, still with the lead, but stretching his advantage over Neil Quick to 1.9 seconds. Now, I don't want to alarm anybody, but we kind of expected that. Right now, Millett does have the fresher tires, but the question remains, how much is Neil Quick really saving right now? He's trying not to burn those tires up. He had a lot of pace in that first stint on that set of tires before he came to pit lane, and he was still able to reel in Millett at the end of the run. Might be kind of equal through here, but there's still another pit stop to be concerned with. In fact, there might be two. Because if the end of the fuel run is 40 laps, I mean, one stop at 40, that gets them to 80. 80 gets them to 120. If we don't get a caution, if we run this thing green to checker without a caution, these guys are going to need to make a late pit stop with about 10 to go. And have to see how it plays out. They can't all be door to door, door slamming, cars upside down on fire. Strategy does come into play, and that's exciting too. You just got to know what the guys are trying to do, what they can do to try and undercut that guy. Again, a lot of times you'll see someone opt for tires sooner than later just to see if they can drag the other guy down pit lane first, kind of mess with their strategy. Mike Fahey in the stream chat again. I got stuck in the dang wall. Just wanted to please everyone who came here to see me wreck. Mission accomplished. Brian Neff down pit lane. Maybe an unscheduled stop. He's taking tires, though. Not sure the strategy but play here for Brian Neff. Maybe he actually was able to go 52 laps. I don't think that's the case. It seemed that just about everybody started to hit pit lane between lap 38 and 41. The latest I saw on pit lane was 43, and that was Dan Baker. Seemed like a normal routine pit stop for Brian Neff, though. He's down and away. Trying to catch some more battles here on the racetrack. Joe Bennett, Jeff Ottinger. Bennett with the 10th position currently. Ottinger closing in on Paul Durkee, and if you look at the 13 truck, he's got some pretty significant right side damage on that machine. Certainly not keeping pace as well as he once was. Ottinger closing in again, a truck length of distance between himself and the number 13. Yeah, you see it there on Paul Durkee as well. Right front is exposed. Rear of the truck looks okay, but Ottinger slowly but surely chipping into that advantage that he has. Durkee up the racetrack. Side by side out of turn 4. Ottinger is going to take the spot. Oh, big time loose out of turn 4, right in front of the 71. That was Brandon Coleman saving the truck, and the 71 almost running him over, but smart enough and quick enough to get to the brakes and avoid contact. Coleman up the racetrack into the fence again, having some real handling issues on that machine. He's also got the leader, Zach Millett, breathing down his neck, so that certainly complicates the matter. Millett to the bottom. Coleman trying to regroup. Neil Quick has slipped back to 3.15 seconds in the rear view mirror of Zach Millett in the second spot. Vincent Short up the racetrack. Short running 14th. Short's got to get by Coleman and Klein here to get himself back in the lucky dog position. We've been caution-free for the first half of this race. We'll almost have about 5 laps shy of the halfway point here at Gateway. Oh, Coleman really loose this time out of 4. Saves it again, or did he make contact with the wall? There's some damage to the left side of that truck. We got to back it up. An incredible save if he didn't wreck the truck. No, he got a piece of the wall, but still. Let's watch it again. Whoa! In all honesty, a really good job. I know he got the inside wall and damaged that truck, but the tendency there, you're in a bit of a panic. The tendency is to turn hard right because you're trying to keep the thing from spinning around. You got to turn into that slide. The trick is, and it's not so much a trick, the trick is avoiding not overcorrecting and sending that truck hard right into the outside wall in front of traffic. Coleman did a good job. Again, I know he bit the inside wall, but he's having a whale of a time out there keeping control of that number 19 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Damage on 3 out of 4 sides of that machine. And he's still slipping and sliding. Vincent Short closing in. That would be a pass 4 position. At the rate that Millett is starting to lap drivers, though, that lucky dog spot is getting further and further away from Vincent Short. Neff going to go around the 19 here down into turn 1. This is not a pass 4 position. Remember, Neff does have a little bit fresher tires underneath him. He pitted lap 53. As it stands now, Millett has lapped up to the 9th position. Jumbalot Joe Bennett, the last truck on the lead lap. I speak too soon. He goes down a lap to Millett here at the stripe. We are halfway at Gateway. Tell you, I like this guy in the 71 truck, Blaine Woodruff. It's been a pleasure to watch so far tonight. I know he's not having the greatest of runs. He's running back there in the 19th spot, but Mind you, that is due in large to a pit road speeding penalty he was issued on his first green flag stop. It cost him 40 seconds in the pit box. We saw him as high as, well, he led a lap here tonight. He was running in the 5th position before the green flag stop cycle started. Started in the 10th position and slowly worked his way through the field. He was going to be a challenger before this one's out. Got to be kicking himself for the mistake. Certainly been a fun one to watch. So top 8, Zach Millett, Neil Quick, Brian Rose, Rob Hattenbach, Nick Cote. Then 6th place is Mike Adamson, Mason Wegeman 7th, Russ Kilgore 8th, last truck on the lead lap. And he is not far from losing the lap here to leader Millett very soon. Cody Anderson in the stream chat cheering on the 99 of Rob Hattenbach and, of course, Zach Millett. Hi, Cody. 69 laps in here from Gateway. We're going to jump out and get another HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way before pit stops begin once again. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
back at Gateway, 77 laps in here. The FMC Aircraft Solutions 130. Zach Millett continues to lead with a 5-second advantage over the 2 of Neil Quick. Continue to watch this battle back for about the 6th position. Russ Kilgore running in the number 28 truck just behind Mason Wagaman. 31 of Scott Milner coming into the fray though on fresher tires. Green flag stop starting to happen. You saw during the break, Brian Rose took his opportunity to hit pit lane. Still comes out here in the 8th position, but his pit stop at lap 71, so we're talking 7 laps to go. He's going to try and gain some time back on leader Millett, in 2nd place Neil Quick. Again, trying that undercut. Speaking of Neil Quick, pit stop time for the 2. 2nd round of green flag stops. Neil Quick down pit road. Vincent Short, Albert Anderson, both in as well. Millett stays on the track for an extra lap. Now with Neil Quick down and away, he's gone down a lap. Can he pit from the 2nd spot? Currently right now it's Zach Millett and Adamson, the lead 2 vehicles on the track, and we're talking lead lap. Everybody else a lap down or greater. Millett down pit lane. Ooh, real tough on the brakes. Locks it up a bit, slides the nose. Good thing he's changing those tires. Hopefully got her woed down and doesn't take a 40-second penalty here. We've seen that happen to some drivers already this evening. Adamson stayed on the track, but he was almost a whole lap down at the time anyway. So Millett in pit lane still as the race leader. Right sides go in the air. Neil Quick about 42 seconds back. Again, leader Zach Millett stopped in pit lane. That's why you're getting a greater than 1 lap time differential. Millett down and away. 14.63 seconds in the pit box. Lightning fast stop for Zach Millett. Adamson does take over the top spot. 751 machine, the City Chevrolet Silverado. He's going to duck down pit lane as well. Get his pit stop out of the way. Well, there's the differential. Millett back out in front after his pit stop. Neil Quick, though, 4.6 seconds behind. Remember, he stopped, I think, a lap or 2 prior to Millett. Deficit back to Quick was over 5 seconds pre-pit stop. So Quick was able to gain some track time based on those fresher tires. But now we've got Millett, well, he's got fresh tires now. He's at 4.5 seconds in front. Remember at the end of the last round of pit stops, it was about 1.1 seconds between Millett and Quick, and then it extended out to about 5 seconds by the end of the fuel run. So we're 83 laps in. Again, we're going to have to make one more stop before this is over. We've been under the green flag since it came out. No yellows thus far. We've had one major incident. I wouldn't say major, but 2 trucks coming together out of turn 4. It was Mike Fahey and I think the 751, if I'm not wrong, Mike Adamson. Did not bring out a yellow because they were near the back of the field with no traffic coming. Currently the top 5, the only lead lap trucks in the field. Rob Hattenbach runs 5th. He's 31 seconds behind race leader Zach Millett. To give you an idea, Millett is just now getting into turn 3 and Hattenbach is just now exiting turn 4. So again, seeing a lot of different pit strategies out here. Dan Baker, though, his last pit stop was lap 43. He is still on the racetrack. Has to make one more stop for sure, but is he going to try and stretch this? Baker runs 10th. He's not a lead lap machine. It's only one lap down, but if he can go... No, I don't think he can. He's way off the pace. Maybe he's just trying to save fuel. If he can try and make this a one more stop race, he's going to stay out again. Kilgore to the inside into 3. I don't know that he's going to have enough to win this. Some of these guys have made, well, again, he's only made the one pit stop thus far. Still there in the 10th, 11th position. But if he can get this thing going here another handful of laps, maybe he can do it on one more stop. The leaders cannot. They do have a lot of raw pace. Man, Baker is way slow. 36.87 the last lap for the 09. And I think it's by design. You see a lot of guys actually from 11th on back running laps near that pace. Baker a full second and a half, almost 2 seconds slower than his best lap of the day. Definitely trying to save some fuel. Ryan Rose with 00 Joe Bennett closing in. Ryan Rose going to try and get around the 09 here. Baker goes to the inside, lets those faster trucks go right on by. 71 of Blaine Woodruff coming as well. Still running in the 18th spot. He's up 1 position. But no, he's going to come right now. This might be good enough. He went to lap 43 the first time. If he pits now, he'll leave the pits. It'll be lap 89. He should, if he's careful, have enough to make it all the way to the end. Again, we're not talking race-winning strategy here, but he may be in line for a solid top 10 if he can make this work. And he started 21st tonight, so a top 10 would be almost like a win for the 09. Baker down and away in what could be his final stop of the afternoon. Russ Kilgore still ringing the 9th spot. He's had a strong afternoon. We've seen him in a bunch of different battles here tonight. Kept the truck clean thus far. 90 laps in, 41 to go. Gets to the bottom here with Chris Klein up top. Kilgore up to P8. Little insider information about Dan Baker here. We just got a message in the stream chat from Derek Welch. Baker is in the Discord chat with Derek. And fun fact, he is driving with one hand because he just had a heart procedure. Guy's got some grit, I can tell you that right now. Ironically, and I don't know if any other broadcast platform in iRacing can say this, but this is the second time I've had a race driver race with one hand. And in this case, he had a procedure done, so I get it. But the other case, he's only got, the gentleman we're talking about, I forget his name off the top of my head, and it might have been Numb Thumbs. But he only has one arm, or at least one functional arm. And he was out there laying laps down like crazy and challenging for wins. I mean, we're interviewing this guy for top 3 finishes, so it just goes to show you that it's not always about your physical abilities. It's the determination to get it done. You think that you need two hands to get it done. Oh, yeah, there it is. Chris Cohn says that Matt Daniels from LSR, I think it was, the one-arm gamer is his gamer tag, so he embraces it. But yeah, that was, it's incredible. It really is sometimes all about the drive to get it done, the motivation, the willingness to not quit. Great effort to see. Dan Baker, again, having a good run here. Again, he's 18th right now, but I think he's good to go to the end. We'll see. Vincent Short in the pit box for his final stop of the night. All right, Derek Walsh is messing with me now. He says, there's a guy that races with his mouth. He has no arms. I call BS. Pictures or it didn't happen. I mean, if that's the case, I don't know how you top that. There's no way. Imagine him at Suzuka. There's no way. I'm with Haley on this one. It can't be true. I need to see this. If this is real, I will bow down to that. It's absolutely incredible if it's real. That's the mission, Derek. We got to get pictures or video. 96 laps in, Zach Millett just crossing the stripe. Starting lap 96. 8.2 seconds back to Neil Quick. Neil Quick just got to be pulling his hair out because I tell you, Neil is fast and he is at his home racetrack, place that he's got a ton of laps on, not just in the sim, but even in real life. He's got an 8.2 second disadvantage to make up in the next 34 laps. Trying with this math. Mike Fahey makes a very good point. He can barely drive with two arms. You're 100% right, Mike. Who are we to argue? Just playing with you. So Zach Millett to the inside on Rob Hattenbach is going to put the 99 a lap down. So now the top four are the only remaining drivers still on the lead lap. Again, we have been caution-free since the drop of the green flag here tonight. I'll give away one of Millett's secrets here. It is getting in and out of pit lane and pushing the truck to the absolute limit, trying to get into the pits without getting a speeding penalty. There's a lot of time to be gained there, especially here at Gateway. If you really look at the pit entry, you don't have to really get to that slowdown line, that commitment line, till right as the pits start on the front stretch. Now, with that in mind, you enter the pit lane from turn 3. So if you can swing it, you can drive that on the flat as hard as you can go, you can make up a lot of time. And we're seeing that, I think, with Millett being able to put that much more time on Neil Quick in the second round of green flag stops. Didn't quite see it the first time, but there may have been a lot of that undercut as far as Quick coming out with better tires comparative to Millett. Of course, Zach came in about 2 laps after, got his fresh rubber. Ryan Rose back in the 3rd spot. Rose still 25 seconds behind the leader. Closer to being lapped than he is to catching the 315. Absolutely unbelievable here at Gateway. As far as our lead lap trucks are concerned, really the battle between Brian Rose and Cote the closest, and it's still about 8 seconds between the two of them. Plenty of other battles on the racetrack as well, but right now, two closest trucks, Brian Rose and the 76 of Jeff Ottinger. Adamson, he's in pit lane. His final stop of the day, or is he just off cycle, or is he making an extra stop? Hard to say. As soon as he leaves the pits, we'll know for sure based on his pit count. Should be 2. Looks like this would be his 3rd stop, so he might just be in a situation where he's just trying to get comfortable and make sure that he's got fresh rubber underneath that truck that he can actually handle driving it. It's no fun trying to drive around these racetracks with worn tires, especially in the truck. Pretty light in the rear end of the truck. Plenty of torque to put down to the pavement. Chris Goen says he sees debris in 3. I told you guys to throw beer cans on the track. Spice it up a little bit. Kilgore down pit lane for his final stop of the day. This will be his 3rd pit stop. Again, leaders Millett, Quick, and Rose also going to make one more stop before this one is over. They're within that window. The question will remain, do you do it now or do you wait till 10 to go? Chris Goens, I've said we've been caution-free like 10 times tonight. It's not working. I lost my mojo. Now Derek Welch has the master button. He could throw it whenever he wants. Just saying. I'm not saying that he will. I'm just saying that he can. So, I want to get this out of the way. Millett, of course, has been dominant all night. Neil Quick, his closest challenger, still almost 10 seconds in the rearview mirror from the 315. But with all of that said, maybe I'm the old guy because I like baseball, but this is like watching a no-hitter. It really is. Because you go to a baseball game, what do you expect to see? Pitch, hit, catch. Okay, that kind of deal. You want to see your guys go out and field the ball. Well, if the pitcher's throwing a no-hitter, that's all you're going to watch, is that guy pitch all night long. Zach Millett's pitching right now, and he's throwing a no-hitter. 25 laps to go to complete it, so I'd say we're in about the 7th inning stretch here. Let's see if he can close this one out. Complete game no-hitter for Zach Millett. Got any takers on a dollar bet against it? Now, if the caution comes out, all bets are off. Chris Cohen says it's because me and Fahey aren't on the track. That's why it isn't working. Well, get on that. Goens, I don't know if you're available on Tuesday nights. They certainly have room for some more drivers. You'd be a good add to this league. You know, a lot of guys will complain that, oh, the same guys are winning every week. It's not just this league. It happens in a lot of leagues. But the key to that, join the league that you can't win races in, because I guarantee you will get better because of it. There's a bunch of different leagues that we cover that have some really fast guys in it, but there's also some guys that truthfully show up every week with no shot at winning that race. It's not going to happen with the talent that they're up against, but they show up every week, put the laps in, put the practice in, try to get better, try to learn from the guys that are wiping the floor with them every week, and they do get better over the course of the season if they continue to show up and do it. It's a benefit. If you enjoy sim racing, you enjoy racing in general, and you want to hone that craft, you have to go out and get spanked once in a while, or even on a regular basis, and you will get better, absolutely. Brian Rose is a prime example of it. Brian was a decent sim racer back in the day. When I first started on iRacing, he was kicking my butt left and right, and he's still pretty damn good. But he is 10 times better than he ever was racing against these guys over in Noble and guys like Zach Millett. He has gotten so much better, learning from the guys that are faster. Alfie Charon in the stream chat, rooting for Zach Millett. Well, of course, that's an easy pick. There's 3 cars on the lead lap. Chris Cohen says, I don't get home till the green flag drops. Well, talk to Derek Welch. Maybe we can extend the grid. I don't know. Alfie Charon says he's gotten better on road courses because of Zach. 100%. 100%. Daniel Pochlag, and I'm probably saying it wrong, says, I'll make a $100 donation to Orphans Organization if Zach Millett doesn't win. Brian Rose back in the pits. This is interesting. He was just in the pits. With that said, Nick Cote had an opportunity. He could have just wrecked Millett right there, and Pochlag would have to make a donation. I'm not sure what the deal is here. If he's just taking an extra set of tires because he can? Or is he just taking that third pit stop early? Brian Rose down and away. Good stop. Jeff Ottinger also in the pits. It's our final round of green flag stops underway. Derek Welch says, that's Mr. DEP. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. DEP, the series sponsor of the Numb Thumbs Racing League Truck Series. You've seen their wonderful commercials here during our breaks. Ottinger down and away. So with Brian Rose pitting, now there's only two. Zach Millett, Neil Quick. Your only two lead lap trucks. The advantage for Millett over the two, 10.6 seconds. See how far back the two is at this point. 17 laps to go from Gateway. I still have to hand it to all of the drivers in this series. It's a 130 lap race here at Gateway. We've got 16 laps to go. Not one yellow flag yet. That alone is a win. It's very impressive. Especially when you watch some of the practice sessions, you see guys spinning out left and right, and you just gotta kind of wonder, oh man, how is tonight gonna go? Is it gonna be a caution fest? And there's been plenty of times where I've watched a practice and I've been wondering, oh, this is gonna be a 2.5 hour broadcast. But here we are. Not a single caution. We've been racing for an hour and 10 minutes. Less than 16 laps to go. It's been impressive. These guys have done such a great job. Meanwhile, I think Neil Quick, Neil Quick in pit lane, 15 laps to go for the final time. He's still in pit lane again before Zach Millett. I see where the time is being lost. He's not super aggressive with the truck on pit entry. Zach Millett, on the other hand, is. I want to try and get a really close look at Millett the next time he hits pit lane to see how fast he's rolling into that area prior to pit speed starting. You know, just cautiously into pit lane, into his box, right side's in the air. Right side's only for Neil Quick, trying to gamble a little bit. Down and away. Zach Millett, oh, he missed his entry. Haley says, no cautions is awesome, especially for you. It's got to be like 3:30 in the morning for you in Sweden. Right side tires. Right side's only for Zach Millett, another gamble. You can tell Zach's paying attention here. Even though he's got such a big advantage over second place, he could not let that go. Neil Quick takes two, I'm taking two. That's the thing about Zach, from what I've experienced knowing him for the last year or so. He's never satisfied. He could be out 10 seconds, and he still thinks there's a chance he could lose this thing. So if the guy behind him is going to switch up the strategy and try and run him down, he's going to try and do the same thing. As we see Vince Short get a piece of the wall out of turn 4. Just briefly. Continues on. Man, oh man. Millett now 12.6 seconds ahead of Neil Quick. They both took 2 tires. We talked about the entry that Millett takes getting into pit lane. It's all on the flat. You see Brian Neff. He's in pit lane. You see how flat it is down there. There's no pit speed right there. You can go as fast as you can make the truck go as long as you don't wreck it until right about there. Then you got to slow down. Well, Haley, as always, I do appreciate you chiming in and watching this race. I know how late it is for you, and you're up in the early hours to go to work. I tell you, if I had T-shirts, I'd be sending one on a slow boat across the Atlantic to you, but I don't have T-shirts. Neff down and away. Chris Klein still running in the 10th position. Up 4 spots from where he started today, up back in P14. Nick Cote in the 4th spot, having a good afternoon as well. He's up 7 positions. See the 747. Albert Anderson hit pit lane. Well, Haley, if I ever do make T-shirts, you're not paying for it. You're here almost every single night watching our broadcast and supporting us, so the first T-shirt I make is on me and it's going to you. Right side's in the air for Anderson. We'll see if he goes with 4. We've seen a couple of guys opt for just 2. Yeah, 4 tires for Anderson. Millett, of course, still with the lead, 12.3 seconds back to Neil Quick. We do have a couple more drivers back in the lead lap. Brian Rose and the 94 of Nick Cote. Actually hearing a lot of these guys shifting throughout the race. Surprised to hear it through 1 and 2. Nick Cote running in the 4th spot. He's just lost a lap to Zach Millett. So now again the top 3, Millett, Quick, and Rose. Only trucks on the lead lap. Nick Cote has about 5 seconds over Rob Hattenbach. P5. Got to give a shout out to Mike Adamson, though. Still running in the 6th position. He's up 13 spots. Started 19th today. Found his way through the field. Had some time up front. Or close to it, for that matter. Out of turn 4. 6 laps to go. Far and away the biggest mover of the afternoon. Nick Cote and Jeff Ottinger close together on the track, not in the standings. Ottinger running in the 11th position, not on the lead lap. And then my personal favorite, this is my personal pick of the race here, Blaine Woodruff. Tough break, but man, this guy's got no give up in him whatsoever. Was fast early on, went through the field, was running 5th, started 10th, got up to the lead. Just fell victim to that pit road speeding penalty. Now with 4 laps to go, he's in the pits for the final time, burning a fast repair. Just topping off the tanks here to make it to the finish. Blaine Woodruff likely to finish back at about 17th here this afternoon, but it's certainly not an indicator of the night that he had or the drive that he had. Certainly be a top 10 at least, maybe a top 5 if he didn't get busted for speeding. Battle for position, Chris Klein and Jeff Ottinger. This is the 10th spot. Klein has it. And they're not on the lead lap, but certainly the battle between them for that spot does exist. Klein and Ottinger on the same lap. Two laps to go from Gateway. Beer cans, anyone? Beer cans? It's your last chance. Nah, don't ruin it now. Green to checker without a yellow. It's a cool thing to have happen. Does not happen very often. Zach Millett across the stripe, white flag in the air. Final lap for the 315. It's 130 laps around Gateway here tonight. If Millett didn't lead all of them, he led most of them. Except for maybe a couple during the pit cycles. Interestingly enough, made it with 3 stops. Dan Baker up to the 12th position. He's done it with 2. Zach Millett out of turn 4. Checkered flag waves. He wins the FMC Aircraft Solutions 130. Neil Quick finishes 2nd. Brian Rose brings the number 89 home to a 3rd place finish. Dominating performance by the 315. I got to go back and look, but I think this is 6 in a row for Zach Millett. Daniel Pochlag just saved $100. Look at it this way, Dan. It's a tax write-off. You don't need to worry about it anymore. Chris Goins makes an excellent point. Good, clean race. Zach Millett, your race winner. Top 3, Zach Millett, Neil Quick, Brian Rose. Have a good night, Haley. Thanks for watching. We're going to jump out and get our final break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back to Gateway, FMC Aircraft Solutions 130. Brian Rose, Neil Quick, Zach Millett, three of our top three. Zach Millett, your race winner. Quick, P2. Brian Rose, P3. Pull Zach Millett in the broadcast booth right now and get a word with our race winner. Zach, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got us?
Hey, Steve, got a copy.
Congratulations on a dominating win here tonight at Gateway. I don't even really know where to begin. I know there were some strategies involved here as far as fuel was concerned, but the last pit stop, it was a 2-tire stop. Neil Quick did the same. Was that kind of an audible on your part, or was that the plan from the very beginning? Walk us through it.
No, that was definitely a last second type of deal. I'd say the last 20 laps before I pit the last time, I was actually talking it over with old Alfie, the HBR associate himself, in my stream chat. So we were going back and forth on what would be the right option, and I did actually see Neil take 2. So it was still a tough choice, man, because I tested it a little bit on 2, and it felt pretty awful. So it was hard to do it, but glad I did.
Late enough in the race, you could kind of gamble a little bit. You had a pretty good advantage over the 2 of Neil Quick. Again, a home race for Neil Quick. We kind of expected him to be more of a challenge to you tonight. Wasn't the case. The first pit stop, you guys came out pretty close. It was within 1 second, but after that it was 5 seconds, then it was 12. What was the key to gaining so much time in and out of pit lane there on those green flag stops?
Honestly, I think every time I went out on track in the practice before the session and in the session, I practiced trying to get onto pit road, and I kind of had this little Tokyo drift way of getting on, and it actually worked. I don't know, I might have got a little bit of time on him there, maybe. I mean, Neil's no slouch. He was getting in there in a hurry, I would imagine, too. So, I don't know, when you race guys like, you know, the guys in this league and a Noble, you really got to get everything you can anywhere you can. So, maybe that was the spot. I don't know.
Well, Zach, either way, a win is a win, no matter how you get it. The biggest thing tonight, we went green to checker without any yellow flags. Certainly that has something to do with it. You just kind of run your pace, work the strategy how you had planned. Of course, you don't have any yellows to interrupt your plans and make changes and that sort of thing. I mean, does having a full green flag run throughout the course of the night instead of having any cautions, does that screw up any of your strategy at all?
No, I actually much prefer it. I like going flag to flag if possible. It kind of rewards you on, you know, getting in and out of pit road. I don't know. I just prefer it. It keeps me in a momentum.
So next week we go out to the Monster Mile at Dover, Delaware. Certainly one of the tracks that you are a very big fan of. What are your thoughts, other than you like the place, going into Dover?
We were just talking about this in the green room. The next 5 or 6 races. I mean, me, Brian, and Neil, we're all pretty big fans of. So we got some great tracks on the schedule, man. We're pretty pumped for them. But next week, yeah, Dover's awesome. You know, I like Dover. It's a great track. It's I don't know if it's going to go flag to flag over there, but we'll see. It'll be an exciting race for sure.
That's all you can do. Well, Zach, again, congratulations on the win here tonight. Before we let you go, anyone you want to shout out to?
Yeah, big thanks to Brian Rose and the HBR group over there. He definitely showed me how to take 3 and 4 in practice. I was actually really slower than he was in practice, and he kind of showed me how to do it. So big thanks to him. Big thanks to Alfie, HBR associate in my stream, so for hanging out and spotting for me. I'd like to thank you, of course, Steve, and HBR TV for the broadcast. Numb Thumbs Gaming, NTRL for having this league. Great group of guys. Track Bar Media, Eric Dodds and State Farm Castle Products. Fahey Race Wraps. Got to thank him for this truck. This truck's awesome looking. He did a great job. Hit him up if you want any paints. And shoot me a follow over on Twitch at that S4 guy.
Zach Millett, nicely done. Again, congratulations. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck next week at Dover.
Thanks, man.
Zach Millett, your race winner here at Gateway. Next, we're going to pull good old Neil Quick up in the broadcast booth. Neil, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Steve.
Neil, congratulations on a P2 finish. I know this is kind of a home track for you. Certainly looking forward to a win. I know you had a great run in practice. You topped the charts there. A 5th place qualifying effort, and then P2 here in the race. Anything you could have done to track down Zach Millett? You guys seemed to have the pace early on, and honestly, you had the fastest lap of the race.
Man, Steve, the only way I was catching him is have a red shell tonight from Mario Kart, because there was no chance. I mean, in the beginning, that first 40 lap run or 39 lap run, kind of worked my way through and started tracking him down a 10th by a 10th and started to feel pretty good. But as I was doing that, I could just feel the truck keep getting tighter and tighter, and the track kept changing for me. I felt like it got tighter all the way through the mid part, and I know me and Zach was just talking in the green room here, and the best that I felt was when I went 2 tires at the end, and he did the same, and I just couldn't get the truck to rotate like I normally do here. So, but I'll take it. I mean, it's a 2nd place run, and I mean, Zach Millett is incredible to race behind, man. The guy is just a fast driver, and one day we'll get there.
You certainly got what it takes. Again, you did have the fastest lap of the race. You beat Millett by a 1/10.5 as far as that was concerned. In fact, Millett was the third fastest. Your next closest competitor in that department, well, it was Brian Rose, and he finished P3. It is what it is. That's small consolation prizes, of course, but we get to go do it again next week. Dover Motor Speedway is the next on the docket. What are your thoughts going into Delaware?
Man, looking forward to it. One of my other leagues I ran in started there the other day. It ran 5 laps and ended real quick for me. So unfortunately, I got caught up in somebody else's mistake. So had a good truck and just didn't get to showcase it. So hopefully get to show it here next week and try to knock Zach off that throne up there at the top. I mean, he's had an incredible run here. How many wins back to back does he have now, Steve?
I got to go and look. I think it's 6. It could be 7. I got to go take a peek, though.
Well, I felt bad for you during the whole thing up there. It's like you were probably waiting for us to turn each other to get a caution.
Yeah, I mean, a caution would have been great, but I gotta hand it to all of our stream chatters. All these guys in here kind of keep things going on. They keep it fluid. They bring up things. They make comments and questions, and it's a bonus. So it's a plus. It was honestly a good race. There was plenty of action throughout the field, albeit maybe a lap down to you guys, but there was still plenty of action to cover. So we had a good race.
Good, man. You did a good job with it. Yeah, I'll just go back to the drawing board and try to get faster here. So definitely know what areas got to improve on. So look forward to Dover and a lot of the tracks coming up here in the future. We got some good tracks coming up.
That's all you can do. Neil, again, congratulations on P2. Who do you want to shout out to?
Just R&R Racewear. You guys in the booth, of course. Derek and all the admin over here at NTRL putting the league on each week. And of course, all the guys I race with. Look forward to it every week. So great group of guys, and look forward to next week.
All right, Neil. Well, thanks for talking to us. Certainly good luck next week at Dover.
Thanks, Steve.
So Neil Quick, your second place finisher here at Gateway. Next, we're going to bring Brian Rose up into the broadcast booth. Get a word with the Track Bar Media number 89 F-150. Brian, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm down here, Steve.
Brian, congratulations, man. P3, it's where you started. It's where you finished. You didn't lose. You didn't gain. I guess it's an okay afternoon. You can't complain about it, but walk us through your race. Was there anything you could have done to catch any of those two, Zach Millett or Neil Quick?
Those two guys are lights out fast. I mean, Zach's always fast everywhere we go, and this being Neil's home track, I knew I had my work cut out for me. Only second time I've ever been on Gateway. So, yeah, what we did, just try to stay out there, try to keep the tires underneath us. Towards the end of the race there, I know I wasn't going to run anybody down, so I took this Track Bar Media and try to hit pit road a few laps earlier than them, maybe have some fresh tires and make some ground up there. Came kind of close. Got up to 3 seconds there on Neil at one point. First time I did it, thought it might pan out for us later on, but it didn't. Really needed a caution to catch up. But it's Track Bar Media and all these hollerboard racing guys. We put in the work and come out, and it was fun. Good caution-free race.
Well, that's the big part of it. We went green to checkers without a caution flag. I know it's kind of a catch-22. You're excited because we went green to checker without a yellow, but then the other side of the coin is we went green to checker without a yellow. So obviously a yellow would have kind of changed things up a bit, added some excitement to the particular race, but it worked out how it worked out. Everybody got to play their strategies, how they had planned, and it worked out the way that it worked out. Millett with the win, Quick P2, and yourself in the third spot. We just get to do it all over again next week out at Dover Motor Speedway. What are your thoughts going into the Monster Mile?
This Hollerboards Racing team, we're going to put in the work next week coming up. I like Dover real well. I think I've got a couple wins there. Just a matter of keeping all the fenders on it at Dover. If Dover's a fast track, high banks, we'll get out there and we'll do our best. Try to come away with some good points. We've struggled a little bit this year, some bad decisions and some mistakes. So trying to overcome those, we've dug ourselves in a hole. But can't thank enough to Eric Dotson, State Farm, that S4 guy, HBR TV. Thank you guys. Numb Thumbs Racing. This is a pretty cool league over here. And HBR shops.com. Go check it out. We got a full line of HBR driver apparel. Go check us out. But we'll get back to it and head to Dover.
It's all you can do. Brian, again, congratulations on P3. A solid run here tonight. Good luck next week at Dover, and thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, man.
It's Brian Rose, your third place finisher here from Gateway. Let's take a look at our race results. Pull those up here in just a moment. Here we talked to our top three. It was Zach Millett, Neil Quick, Brian Rose. P4 was Nick Cote. Fifth place finisher, well, that goes to Rob Hattenback. Had a solid afternoon. And again, these guys were a lap down, but that doesn't mean they had a bad night. Again, we went green to checker without a single yellow flag, so you got some fast guys out front. That sort of thing can happen. Sixth place finisher was Mike Adamson. Seventh, Russ Kilgore. Eighth went to 00 Joe Bennett. Paul Durkee was ninth. Chris Klein 10th. Jeff Ottinger was 11th. And Dan Baker, we talked about Dan, made it on a two-stop strategy. Finishes P12, 2 laps down. Again, racing tonight with the use of only one arm just due to a heart procedure he recently had. So kudos to him. Nicely done. Vincent Short, P13. Mason Wagaman finished in the 14th spot. Tony Polk was 15th. Brian Neff, 16th. Blaine Woodruff, again, my pick of the night. Awesome job by Blaine Woodruff. I know it was only 17th, but again, he had a major pit road speeding penalty early on. So tough break for him, but good luck next week at Dover. Scott Milner was 18th. Albert Anderson was 19th. Brandon Coleman 20th after some issues. Mike Fahey having some hardware problems here tonight, finishes 21st. Derek Welch, race admin, was 22nd. And Juan Jimenez, 23rd, 119 laps down. Big time tough break for the 22 out of this one here early. It is what it is. Sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. Juan's actually very fast. In many cases, we see him up battling for the top 5 positions. So a 23rd and last place finish for the 22, just not characteristic of what we're used to seeing out of that machine. But it is what it is. We digress. We move on to Delaware next week, the Monster Mile. If you want to watch that race, find our information over on hbrtv1.com. It's a brand new website that we have set up. There's not a whole lot on it other than a couple of links on the Facebook side and the YouTube side. So if you want to find us there, please check us out. Again, hbrtv1.com. Check us out there and tune in. Also on the social channels, like I said, give us a follow, a like, a share, and subscribe. Turn on the notifications. Don't miss a minute of the action. Lastly, again, I mentioned it early on. I have to thank all of you guys in the stream chat tonight. These are the races that I need you, okay? You talk about football and the extra man in the seats. You guys are the extra man and women in the stream chat world. You come in here, you talk to me, you ask questions, you talk about this, you talk about that. You make the broadcast that much better, that much easier to get through, especially the nights where we don't have a single caution. We don't have hardly any wrecks to talk about except for Mike Fahey, which that's the norm. But I do appreciate it. You guys really do help. You are a part of this broadcast. You matter. I appreciate you doing it. And again, like, follow, share, subscribe. Come on, help us out. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up from Gateway, the FMC Aircraft Solutions 130. Thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow night for the Black Horizon Truck Series. Tune in about 8 p.m. in the East for another action-packed Truck Series race. But for tonight, thanks for watching. We'll see you at the next one. Thanks for watching.